What really causes pimples? Have you ever looked at the mirror and suddenly noticed a pimple and thought, wait, what is that? Because pimples have absolutely no respect for timing. You can have an important meeting tomorrow, a date, a wedding, and somehow your skin will say, perfect, let us put a volcano in the middle of your head. And the worst part, it always looks bigger in the mirror. You see a tiny pimple, then you move closer, closer, and closer. Now you are basically inside your own pores. And you're like, Jesus, who is living in there? But here is the interesting part. Pimples aren't simply caused by dates. Your skin is actually going through a simple biological drama. And so today we are finding out what really causes pimples. My name is Tula, Quality Assurance Inspector, a microbiologist and a food nutritionist. Let's start with your pores. Your pores are not just holes. Inside your skin are tiny hair structures called hair follicles, and attached to many of these follicles are sebaceous glands. These glands produce something called sebum, basically oil. Your skin produces oil naturally, and before you start shouting oil, you are the problem. Relax. Sebum actually has a job. It helps keep your skin moisturized and protect the skin barrier. The problem is when there is too much of it. Imagine pouring cooking oil into a bottle and then you continue pouring. At some point, the bottle will say, boss, where exactly do you want this oil to go? And that is basically what can happen inside the follicle. Too much of sebum and dead skin cells can start blocking the follicle. And congratulations, you have just created a perfect environment for a pimple to form. How does the pimple actually form? When the follicle gets clogged, you can develop what is called a comedon. And if the opening remains open, you may get a blackhead. And here is something, that blackhead isn't necessarily dead. So stop looking at your nose thinking, I need to wash my face harder. The dark color is likely caused by the contents of the pores reacting with oxygen. So basically, your blackhead is getting darker because of oxidation. Science has entered the chart. If the follicle is closed, you can get a whitehead. But sometimes, things get more dramatic because your skin naturally has microorganisms living on it, including Cotibacterium acnes. Don't worry, you don't need to remember the name, just call it C. acnes. These bacteria normally live on our skin, but when the follicle becomes clogged, the environment may become favorable for them, and your immune system notices. Your immune system basically looks at the situation and says, who started this? Then inflammation begins. And now that tiny small pore has upgraded itself from small problem to a red painful announcement. Then the hormones show up. Now let's bring in one of the biggest troublemakers, hormones, especially during puberty. Androgens, including testosterone, can stimulate sebaceous glands to produce more sebum, and more sebum means more oil, and more oil can increase the chance of follicles becoming clogged. And this is the reason acne becomes so common during puberty. And honestly, puberty was already stressful enough because your voice is changing, you're growing hair in places you never ordered, and then your skin decides, you know what this experience needs? Pimples. Wonderful. And here is another thing, people respond differently to hormones. Some people's sebaceous glands are very sensitive to hormones, and genetics can also influence how likely you are to develop acne. You might want to stop blaming your face. You may need to have a meeting with your family tree. What about chocolate? Now let's discuss the food accusations. Because whenever someone gets pimples, somebody will immediately say you have been eating chocolates, or stop eating granuts, or it's because you ate egg, and suddenly everyone becomes a dermatologist. But the truth is more complicated. Research suggests that diets high in high glycemic foods may contribute to acne in some people. There is also evidence of an association between acne and some dairy products, and particularly certain types of milk. Your acne is usually influenced by multiple factors: hormones, genetics, sebum, dead skin cells, inflammation, bacteria, and possibly diet and other environmental factors. So that chocolate bar you ate isn't necessarily sitting inside your stomach with a microphone saying, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we attack the forehead. You have pimples because you don't wash your face. Please, let us retire this statement. Acne is not simply caused by having a dirty face. Your face is not a dirty bedroom floor. You don't need to attack it with sponge. And please, don't use ash soap because somebody told you if your face doesn't feel tight after washing, you haven't washed properly. That tight feeling can actually mean you have stripped away too much of your natural oil. And then there is this classy move, squeezing the pimples. You see it, you touch it, you squeeze it. It doesn't come out. You squeeze harder, still nothing. Now you are sweating, your face is red. Your fingernail has entered the situation and now you are saying, come out. Please stop. Squeezing can increase inflammation and raise the risk of scarring. Because you didn't remove the problem, you just declared war on your skin. So what actually causes pimples? Now let's put everything together. A pimple can start when sebum and dead skin cells clog a hair follicle. Then changes involving the bacterium C. acnes and your immune response can contribute to inflammation. Genetics can influence how your skin responds. And diet and other factors can also play a role in some people. So no, your face is not necessarily dirty, your chocolate is not necessarily the cause, and your pimple didn't appear because someone looked at you badly. Your skin is simply running a very complicated biological operation. And sometimes the operation goes terribly wrong. So next time when you see a pimples, don't panic, don't squeeze it, don't interrogate your pillow, and definitely don't start blaming your entire kitchen. Take care of your skin, and if your acne is severe, painful, persistent, or leaving scars, talk to a dermatologist. And remember, at Body Bytes, we make your body make sense. My name is Tula, Quality Assurance Inspector, a microbiologist, and a food nutritionist. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.